Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing a DIY video, and I decided to do bath bombs for this DIY, and I was actually pretty surprised at how well they turned out. It was a learning process. There was definitely a learning curve. I did do like a test batch before I filmed the video just to make sure that they actually worked as bath bombs, but I'm actually really happy with how they turned out in the end. So these bath bombs were made without citric acid. I know that's a pretty common ingredient in bath bombs, so it could be a bad thing or a good thing that I didn't use them. I mean, I guess if you're allergic to citric acid or don't want to use it, then it's a good thing. But I just used pretty basic ingredients, and then I did do 4 different scents. So I'll share all of those with you, but you could totally just pick one and make a bigger batch of it. The recipe that I used made about 8 bath bombs, and the size of your mold definitely determines how many bath bombs you're going to get out of the mixture. So let's get right into this, and most of this is going to kind of be a voiceover just so that you can actually see the process of it, but hopefully you guys enjoy this, and I will be back at the end to talk about a little bit more about it, but let's get started. So first we're going to start off with our dry ingredients. So we have baking soda, cream of tartar, Epsom salt, and then that coconut oil we'll need later. And then for the scents, you're going to use a dried flower or 2 for each scent, and then you'll also need the essential oils. I'll go into like the specific ones that I used when we get into the different scents. And then as far as like glass and hardware, you'll need molds, 4 separate bowls if you're going to do different scents, a ton of spoons, and then measuring spoons and measuring cups. And then the first thing that you want to do is in like a big bowl, just mix all of the dry ingredients. So you're going to do 2 cups of the baking soda, which is this whole box, but I didn't realize that until afterwards. So you're just going to pour that in there, and then do your cream of tartar, and again, same thing. It's 1 cup, but really it's like that whole jar, but I didn't realize that. So you'll put that in, and then you're going to do 6 tablespoons of the Epsom salt. And then you want to make sure that you mix this thoroughly so that it's well combined before you separate it into different bowls. Now if you're only going to do 1 scent, you don't have to separate it into different bowls, but if you want to do 2 scents or 3 scents, you know, you're just going to want to split it up equally among all your different bowls. And then after that's all combined and separated, the first scent that I'm going to do is the rose one. So you're going to do 1 tablespoon of dried rose petals, and then you're going to do 20 drops of rose essential oil. I couldn't find a rose essential oil, so I just used this soap fragrance that I had, which is rose. So you're going to do 20 drops of that, and then you're going to want to like stir that all up, and to make it bind together, you're going to use 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and that's going to be the same for all of the scents. So you'll just combine it, and then what I found works best is if you take a spray bottle of water and actually give it a quick spray, and that makes it the perfect consistency. You want to make sure to not let this sit too long because it will start to, you know, mold and form. So instead of making your other scent, you'll probably want to put it in the mold. So this one is lavender and chamomile, so you're going to do a tablespoon of dried lavender, a tablespoon of dried chamomile, and then you're going to want to do 20 drops of lavender essential oil, and then, like I was saying, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil and a spritz of water. I found that that makes it the best consistency, especially when you're doing it in this portion size. You want to make sure that if you like put some in your hand and squeeze it, it'll stay in that like ball form. And then, like I said, after you do that, you're going to want to instantly put it into the mold and not just let it sit there, because either it'll start, like the water will start to evaporate or will start to react, and you want it to be in the mold and starting to take the shape that you want it to. So like I said, adding that spritz of water. And then this one is Calendula. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but it's like Calendula flour, and then so it's a tablespoon of that, and then it's 15 drops of Calendula essential oil, and then it is also 10 drops of orange essential oil. And I actually really love how this one turned out. I don't know, I think it's the orange smell that I really enjoyed, but this is also the bath bomb that I tested at the end of the video and kind of gave you guys like a sample of what it looks like. So I really do like how this one ended up working out. But same thing, you're just going to put in 2 tablespoons of that coconut oil and then a spritz of water, mix it all up, and then put it in your mold. Yeah, pretty much the same thing, just different scents. And then this last one is rosemary and peppermint, so you're going to do a tablespoon of dried rosemary. You could also do fresh rosemary, but I just had dried rosemary, so I didn't want to like go get fresh rosemary. And then you're going to do 15 drops of peppermint essential oil. This is another one of my favorites. I really liked how this one turned out. And again, the 2 tablespoons of coconut oil and the spritz of water to make it all bind together. And after that, I'm going to start putting them into the mold so that you guys can see how I packed them into the molds. When picking out your mold, you're going to want to pick something that's simple. You guys will see that flower mold that I'm using right there. I really do like the 2 like shapes that I used, but when I did a test run of it, I used the more complicated one down at the bottom of that mold. You guys will kind of see in what I'm saying, but when I went to take them out, it didn't really work out too well. So, you know, you're going to want to choose something that's a little bit simple so that you don't break your bath bomb when you take it out. And then the other thing that I'm doing in that flower mold is I'm taking a little bit of the dried flower or whatever I had in that specific bath bomb mixture and putting it in that little center spot as like a little garnish. It looks really cool when you take it out and you have like some of that dried flower on top of the bath bomb. But then in that plastic mold, which is actually just a soap mold from Michael's, I didn't add the garnish, I just packed it in there. And then when you're packing in your bath bomb, you want to make sure that you're really pressing down in between like each spoonful that you put in there, because if you don't and then it starts, the water and the oil start to kind of separate and dry, your bath bomb won't stay together, which is a bummer. So you're definitely going to want to make sure you pack that in really tight. And like I was saying earlier, you're going to get about 8 bath bombs out of this mixture. It really does depend on what size your molds are. My molds were pretty large, so if you're using something smaller, like I've seen that you can use old plastic egg, like Easter eggs that you use for like Easter egg hunts as molds. You could probably get like double the amount if you use something small like that, but it would be the same like ratios for everything. It would just be a different mold. So that's them all molded in, and then you're basically going to let them sit for 24 to 48 hours, you know, so that it can, all the liquid and everything can evaporate. And after they're all evaporated and you're, you know, you're pretty sure that they're going to stick together, you can go ahead and pop them out of the mold. I would suggest storing them like any other bath bomb that you get from like Lush or, you know, anywhere, in like a Ziploc bag or somewhere safe and not moist. You definitely don't want moisture getting on them until you're ready to take a bath. But as you can see, I did like a little test of them so that you can see that they do fizz. I don't think they're as like extravagant as a Lush bath bomb, which, I mean, I don't know, they're kind of the pros at that, but definitely they do fizz and they smell really nice. And then the other thing I noticed was I did put my hand in the bowl that I tested it in, and the coconut oil really does leave your skin feeling super moisturized. It does feel a little bit oily, but I mean, I kind of like that. If I'm gonna take a bath, I definitely want my skin to be hydrated and moisturized. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are gonna try this out, definitely let me know how they go. If you have any other scents that you've tried for bath bombs or like soaps, definitely leave those down below. I have a ton of essential oils and I would like love to experiment with it. I think these make a great gift. I'm actually planning to give some for Mother's Day, so I would definitely consider that like for your, you know, your mom's birthday or your friend's birthday or someone that you know's birthday or Mother's Day or whenever. These are great gifts, and like I said, you can just package them up in like a little cellophane bag and just, you know, tie it with a little you know, twisty tie and then give it as a present. I think they would really, really enjoy that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.